Today, I want to share two ideas with you, which has which have these two ideas have both scientific implications and spiritual implications. The first idea that I want to share with you is that the universe that you experience, the so-called physical universe, the universe that science describes as the objective universe, does not exist. Okay, so the universe, as you experience it, does not exist, period. And that includes your physical body and your brain, which is part of the physical universe. It does not exist. It's an illusion. And tied to this is the first klesha in Vedanta. Klesha means cause of suffering, that we suffer because we do not know the difference between illusion and reality. Our suffering comes from not knowing the difference between illusion and reality. So let's explore these and unravel both these ideas. So the first is the concept that the objective universe of science is a human construct which is entangled with the human brain. The objective universe that we call the scientific universe is actually a human universe entangled with the brain. And this idea highlights the interplay between human perception and the reality we seek to understand. Science, while striving for objectivity, is inherently shaped by the limitations and structures of the human mind. So let's explore this idea by examining how perception, cognition, and consciousness influence our understanding of the so-called objective universe. So the first exploration. The human brain is a filter for reality. Perception is not a direct reflection of objective reality, but an active construction shaped by, according to science, sensory input, prior experiences, and cognitive biases. Neuroscientific studies reveal that our brains reconstruct the environment rather than passively recording it. Our brains reconstruct the environment. For now, I will agree, although there's a deeper explanation for this, but let's agree on this. For example, perceptual biases such as seeing distant objects as smaller arise from how the brain processes sensory data and integrates it with prior knowledge. This suggests that what we perceive as reality is filtered through the brain's interpretive mechanisms. This is a scientific explanation. Doesn't mean that I agree with all of it, but I agree with it to some extent. I'll tell you later why I don't. Scientific inquiry relies on observation and measurement, yet these processes are influenced by human perception. And theories like Bayesian integration show how expectations shape interpretation, even in scientific contexts. Moreover, philosophical perspectives such as biocentrism argue that consciousness itself plays a role in shaping physical reality, suggesting that observers are integral to defining what is real. And now, recently, a lot of very good understanding about the parallels between the brain and the universe. Striking human brain and the universe and the appearance of the universe. So striking similarities between the structure of the human brain and the universe further underscore this entanglement. Both exhibit fractal-like networks. Both the brain and the universe we perceive exhibit fractal-like networks, neurons in the brain and galaxies in space, that suggest a shared organizing principle. This resemblance raises profound questions about whether the brain's ability to model the universe stems from its structural alignment with cosmic patterns. As is the brain, so is the universe, so to say. While science seeks universal truths, it operates within the constraints of human cognition. Even philosophers like Immanuel Kant have argued that while objective reality exists independently of us, our knowledge of it is mediated by subjective perception. Thus, scientific models are approximations shaped by human thought, not absolute representations. So, the scientific argument thus far is that the so called objective universe is deeply intertwined with human cognition. Perception biases, cognitive networks, and consciousness shape how we understand reality. While science provides powerful tools to uncover these so called universal laws, which are, by the way, just regularities of experience in consciousness, it remains a human endeavor rooted in subjective experience. Science remains a human endeavor rooted in subjective experience. Recognizing this entanglement enriches our understanding of both science and ourselves. So far, what I've said is nothing new. But here's my problem with this so called scientific explanation. The brain itself, being part of the physical universe, is an experience in consciousness. And it is subject to the same biases with which we experience the universe, because the brain is part of the material universe. So far, what I want to share with you is that the brain and the universe are human constructs as interpretations of perceptual activity. So, if the brain and the universe and the body are not real, then what is real? If they are illusions or projections of consciousness filtered through the conditioned mind, the biological correlate of which is the human brain, which is entangled with the experience of the universe, then if all these things are basically human perceptions as filtered through the conditioned mind, of which the biological correlate is the brain, but if the human mind is conditioned through these theories and scientific constructs, which are human constructs in human consciousness, if then the brain is an experience, a mode of knowing in consciousness, and therefore a modified activity of consciousness as the human mind, the human brain, and the human universe, what is real? Well, what is real is that which modifies itself as the activity that we call mind, body, and universe. And these activities are essentially what Sanskrit refers to as vrittis, fluctuations, vibrations of consciousness. So consciousness vibrates as the human mind through conditioning, therefore, very provisional conditioning, ancestral conditioning, scientific conditioning, philosophical conditioning, religious conditioning, cultural conditioning, economic conditioning. All of that is the conditioning of pure consciousness, which is infinite possibilities, into the experience of this mind, this brain, this universe, this body, and the entangled universe. Then what is real is that which is modifying itself. And that which is modifying itself is you, consciousness. Is that consciousness personal? Well, it is personal as the conditioned mind, but as the impersonal, it is the divine matrix that is projecting itself as the human body, mind, and the universe. So that fits in with the first klesha, the causes of human suffering. The first klesha says that suffering, human suffering, occurs because you do not know the difference between reality and illusion. Anything that you call material is an illusion. And reality is the invisible, non-local, formless, infinite, spaceless, timeless, irreducible, fundamental awareness, which is the deeper self, which is one with the self of the universe. Atman is Brahman. And Aham Brahmasmi says, I am the universe. But I am not Deepak Chopra. I am the consciousness that through conditioning is called Deepak's mind, Deepak's brain, Deepak's body, and Deepak's universe. Once I go beyond the illusion into my true self, which is the field of infinite possibilities, the superposition of all modes of knowing and experience, the field of uncertainty, the field of creativity, the field of self-regulation, and the field of evolution, then I have found freedom because I realize I'm the timeless self modifying itself into time-bound experiences from microcosm to macrocosm. Get rid of the illusion and you are free. That freedom is also called enlightenment. So I hope this is helpful. Please let me know.